Hello, everybody. I had a couple of students ask about how to work with RLES, and so I thought I would just do a really quick uh, intro to RLES. And here's our URL, rlescloud.rit.edu. And we get to this login, and this is your main login. You use your RIT password here, and we're just signing in here. Okay, so the things that you need to look at here is right now we're in the catalog, and the catalog lists all of the images that are available to you on RLES. You could request any single one of these, okay? Um, and what we are going to request is this one right here, the CentOS 7 Minimal. Now, to get an image to work with, what you do is you click on Request. And of course, you need to remember the username password is root and student, okay? Um, now, okay, let's just do that for now. And so we'll do request. We need to think about the business group that it's in. Now, eventually, I'm going to assign you guys to RLS groups, and you will work together in one of these groups. And you'll probably only see the group that you're a member of. Unclear about that, but you can see we've got 6 groups and we have 36 people in the class, so we may end up just working off of that. But for now, I'm going to say the MSNSA. Yeah, you're not master's students, but don't worry about it. It'll be okay. It's just a place to work from. I click on OK. Now we're loading it up, and now we've got this thing assigned to us, but the question is it configured the way that we want it to be? And the answer is not quite. Okay, so we have general stuff here. What we don't have is select a network for NIC1. We need to select a network. And you'll be working, when you're working on other networks, you'll use some of these different ones when you're in different groups. But this is the most basic one, the NAT network. This is the one that allows you to connect out really easily and do your work. Now, if you wanted to, you could add more CPUs, you could add more memory, I think you could do more instances here if you wanted to. So, that's available if you need it. For us, we're just doing a minimal install. We just need a client. I'm not doing anything special with it, so this is all good. Now, storage is another thing. Now, for this class, we're not doing lots of different storage things, but I teach a storage class, and in that, I have my students add a bunch more drives. Okay, all right. Okay, so I hope that the little discontinuity here, I had to take a break there for a second. One last thing I wanted to say before we go through and submit the request is that if you look over here at the NSSA CentOS 7 minimal and look at this information, this is the general information about this image. This tab here, CentOS-minimal, that's more like, if you think about that as the specifics of your particular instance, that's, kind of one way to think about it. And then I showed you the storage and everything. And so we're all set here. I'm going to go back to general. I've got my NAT network, I've got my CPUs, I got my memory, I'm all set. So I'm going to click on submit here. And when I click on submit, what that says is that's like, okay, I really want this instance. Now, it takes a little bit to create and fire up this instance. So, be ready for that. We're talking 5 minutes or so. Let's see, I am going to pause this right now, and then I'll come back when it's all set. But you can see right now, in progress, 8%. I'm at 10%. It takes a little bit. So I'm going to pause this, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes in, and it seems to be working all right. This one on the bottom here that I'm destroying, and my destroy is in progress. That was when I first started to make this video. So anyhow, there we go. And what we will do next is we'll click on this guy over here. Come on. All right, so then this comes up, and what we need to do next is to look down here in this corner. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, and it's kind of a pain to work with, but that's the way it goes. Once again, we've got the information here on the general instances in this category, but then this is the information about our specific instance. And what we want to do is to click on that button there, and you'll notice that we've got a bunch of stuff here. We've got connect to remote console, which allows you to, just have a console on this guy. You can use the virtual machine remote console, VMRC. That's a VMware remote console. Cool. You can, another thing that you're going to want to do is to create a snapshot, because now this thing is in its pristine, clean image. You didn't do anything bad to it, and so it would be nice if we could. Let me hide details here so we get a little bit more room. It would be nice if we could keep a clean snapshot of this instance before you make any changes. And so create snapshot is how you do that. And you're welcome to do that. I think there's a limit of like 4 snapshots that you can create with your and my access rights, but having one of the pure image is probably good. Now, that said, if you mess something up, just destroy this image and create another one. So either way is okay. So, whatever you want to do is fine. Here's our, reboots and power off and power cycles and all that stuff. So, that's how you do it. So I usually use the remote console, and I click on that here. And now I've got my remote console. Now I want to log in as root. Oops, I got to click once in the window. I hate that, drives me crazy. And then student. And you're here. I mean, this is your Linux instance. You can, list anything. You can see where you are. You can do anything you want to at this point. You're logged in as root on this Linux instance. You're going to be looking at systemctl, and I think minus help, I think, is a command. And so here's systemctl. This, shows you all the different options that you have. And for the systemctl individual exercise, these are the kind of things that you're going to want to know how to do. So there you go. So here's a whole bunch of commands that you can use, and we got a whole bunch of them. And you can see all this stuff. Now it says end there. I keep hitting my space bar, nothing happens. But if I hit Q, quit, that takes me out of that command. Now the other thing that you're going to be working with is yum. We'll do a yum help. And here's all your commands for yum. So, there's a lot of support for what you want to do. You also have the man pages, man yum, if you want to do that. And here's your, your man pages for Yum. And once again, it's got all your commands in here, the description of what it's about. You can do, page through all of this stuff and do all these kinds of cool things. And then remember, to get out, you press Q to quit. So now I'm out again. Now we're also going to do an SSH individual exercise. And here's your SSH help. And it doesn't there aren't that many. This one doesn't have that help option. But if you did the man SSH, here's some man pages on OpenSSH and how to work with it, how to configure it, and all that kind of stuff if that's what you want to do. So, you're going to want to configure it. Now, the SSH one, you're going to need to have 2 instances running, and then you're going to need to communicate between the 2. And you can do that using the IP address. Now, how do you find out your IP address? Well, IP adder is one way to do it. Look down on the ENS 192 and then INET, and it has 192.168.204.234. And we're in a /21 network. So that's the IP address of this particular instance. And if you know the IP address of another instance on here, you can ping between them. You can do anything that you want. Now we're going to ping out 8.8.8, and we'll see if we have connectivity going out, and we do. 8.8.8, if you don't know, that is the DNS server at Google that is wide open for anybody to use to refer requests to. So that's a nice address to know if you wanted to ping. By the way, I just used my up arrow on there to bring up the last command, 129.2.1.0.1. I have no idea what this one is. Let's see. Let's do the. I think it's .3.17 is one of RIT's DNS servers that's also available. Yeah, there it is. And Control C to get it to stop. And so there's an RIT address. Now, let's see. Well, that should be enough. So when you're done working with your instance on RLES, you don't have to really do anything. RLES will time this out pretty quickly, and so if I just close this window, close this tab without logging out, RLES will pause the instance so that when you come back to it at a later date, it'll come back in the same way that it was before. Let's connect to our remote console again and see if we're at the same spot. And we are. So, we're, whoops, got to click in the window. We're logged in, we're ready to go. If you do the who am I, tells you who you are, your root. Of course, and the command line above there, it says root at localhost. And so, that's what's defined here. There's the host name for our machine, localhost.localdomain. At some point we're going to want to change that. We're going to want to do lots of things with these Linux images. But I hope this was a good intro to RLES, and it should work out all right for you. So let me get this guy up. So have a good day. I hope that helps. Bye-bye.